Brad Stevens has wanted to remain patient in finding this final roster spot for the Boston Celtics as they gear up for the playoffs. And last night, the answers were called down upon us. Neemias Queta has finally been guaranteed that final roster spot for this Boston Celtics squad as he's been working his ass off for the Celtics this year and is getting ready to be a piece for the playoffs. We're going to be breaking down all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we dive in on all this Boston Celtics news, though, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy this Celtics Daily News, and you're one of the thousands that watch our videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we try to get to 4,000 subscribers. And tonight, we'll have a live watch-along stream as the Celtics take on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Jays are both listed to play tonight, so it should be an exciting one. Make sure to come join us and have some fun tonight. But again, without further ado, let's get into the topic at hand today. Make sure, if you do enjoy the video, to hit that subscribe button and get a snack before the video, as it's going to be a jam-packed episode. But first off, we're going to be breaking down congrats to Neemias Queta. As I mentioned in the introduction, he has been guaranteed the final roster spot for the Boston Celtics, and we're going to give some congratulations to him because he has been heating up in the G League for this squad over the last couple of weeks, leading this team into their deep playoff run alongside guys like DJ Stewart, alongside guys like Jordan Walsh. But Neemias Queta has also been able to do that stuff for this legitimate roster. If you guys don't know, or if you guys have been following this channel for a long time, since July, we've been, preaching Neemias Queta ever since he signed, hyping him up to be that Rob Williams replacement, hyping him up to be that, center replacement for the Boston Celtics. And he's kind of lived up to those expectations. He's had some trouble, with the fouling around the rim. He's had some trouble, finishing around the rim as well. But this man has a high energy tank. He's a great offensive rebounder, and he has the intangibles to grow into that starting center mold for the Boston Celtics, or even a fantastic backup center with a great rim protection. Now, if we want to look at this tweet from Taylor Snow, we can see that last night the Celtics did sign Neemias Queta to a standard contract, making him eligible to play the remainder of the regular season for the Celtics and the playoffs, which is huge for the Boston Celtics, which we'll dive into a little bit more. Queta's per 36 stats with Boston this season are 14.5 points, 13 rebounds, with 1.8 blocks, 1.7 assists, and 1.3 steals. Now, Neemias Queta had that big stretch for the Boston Celtics in that Western Conference road trip, putting up 2 double-doubles versus the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers. And then after that Los Angeles Lakers game when Luke Kornet started to come back, he started to fade out of the Celtics system. Then when the Celtics went to acquire Xavier Tillman, it's seeming that they've used him as a bigger big man over Neemias Queta, and Neemias Queta has been more of a developmental big. But having Neemias Queta's body for the playoffs and having him just be eligible just in case they want to run some different rotations, different mismatches, or just see what he can have to do guarding against some of these bigger bigs in the Eastern and Western Conference that we'll have to dive into, would be huge for the Boston Celtics. And if we all know, we all want to mention, Neemias Queta has done something for history in the NBA, as we can see, as he was the first Boston Celtic to be a first Portuguese player in NBA history. Sorry, a little butchered that, but the first Portuguese player in NBA history to get a standardized contract. Congratulations to you, Neemias Queta. As you all know, I'm Portuguese. Força Portugal. Força Neemias Queta. Let's go. Keep going, Neemias Queta. We want to see you hyped. We want to keep praising you. We want to see you develop to be that star. I know everybody in the comment section has been hyping up Neemias Queta this season, wanting him over Luke Kornet. And even though I've kind of fought back and forth, Luke Kornet is a little bit more of a traditionalized big, has a little bit more of the fundamentals down. I think Neemias Queta can grow and be that type of big that Luke Kornet has been for the Boston Celtics. And Neemias Queta thinks so as well. We want to look at this tweet from Noah Dalzell here, a fantastic breakdown. She says that after last night's Monsters game, Neemias Queta told me how he's learned from Luke Kornet, who was once in a similar situation as him in Maine. Saying a lot of the stuff that he tells me, I just try to translate, and he's been a great vet for me. Today, Queta signed a standardized contract again. Absolutely fantastic. Full circle. Learning things from the guy that took your role for this squad, who had been in a similar situation, that's going to teach you these intangibles, and then translating it and using it for the G League success and possibly for next year is huge for the Boston Celtics. And like I mentioned, Luke Kornet has been a key piece for the Boston Celtics and could possibly leave in free agency. So therefore, signing Neemias Queta is a big-time thing, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, obviously, as you guys know, like I mentioned, Neemias Queta had some stretches in the NBA for the Boston Celtics in December. He's been, on and off, but this was his best minutes with the Boston Celtics. 10-10 versus the Golden State Warriors and a 14-12 game versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Those are what kind of cemented him, got him some rights in Boston, got the fans pumped up about him, got myself, hyped up, thinking that he could be this piece for the playoffs. We could use him, but unfortunately, he got a little bit of rest we got with Xavier Tillman, and that's what kind of the question marks have arisen with him. Is Neemias Queta just going to be a playoff body used just in case? Or are we actually going to see him utilized? Well, if we want to look at Neemias Queta's G League stats, we can obviously see that he's been dominant in the G League, averaging 14.4 points on 75% shooting from the free throw, with 8 rebounds, basically 3.4 assists, 1.1 steal, and almost 2 blocks. Just absolute masterclass from our guy Neemias Queta there. But if we want to look at the Celtics depth chart, you guys can see that there are some other big men in the rotation. Guys like Jordan Walsh, guys like Oshae Brissett, guys like Luke Kornet, guys like Xavier Tillman, and then obviously Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis, as those are the big front court players for the Boston Celtics. So will Neemias Queta ultimately get a role in the playoffs? I don't think so. I think he's just being brought up as the last roster spot. Brad Stevens probably tried to contact with Isaiah Thomas, tried to contact Blake Griffin, tried to see if some of these guys that had, some vet minimum guys in free agency wanted to come to Boston. If he couldn't find a guy that he liked or felt like a good role, he then went to replace with Neemias Queta, which is, some great front court addition for the Celtics, as it's not the weakest point of this Boston Celtics, but definitely the scariest point, as Kristaps Porzingis could, go down any minute with some injury scares, and Al Horford, the veteran that he is, has been so successful and so helpful, but with him getting older up in age, he could slow down a little bit for the Celtics in the playoffs as well. So having guys like Luke Kornet, having guys like Oshae Brissett, Jordan Walsh, Neemias Queta, Xavier Tillman, just to be there, just in case they want to throw some a different lookout with a different lineup, or add some spice to, bring some versatility to a squad not preparing it, that's what you're going to see. And Neemias Queta could guard some of these bigs as well. As we know, the Eastern Conference is filled with possibly Joel Embiid in the first round, maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo, maybe Bam Adebayo, maybe Nikola Jokic, maybe Chet Holmgren, maybe Karl Anthony Towns, maybe Rudy Gobert if we get deep at the Western Conference. So every team has a good big man. Now the Celtics obviously have Porzingis, they obviously have Horford, but having guys like Tillman, having guys like Brissett, having guys like Kornet, having a guy like Queta, just being there to help out is necessary for the Celtics' success. And like I mentioned, Neemias Queta is a developing piece, so even though he might not get that much run this year with the Boston Celtics, we could see him in the future getting run. At the moment, we don't know if this deal is just the end of the year deal, or if it's a deal that's going to be a multi-year deal for Neemias Queta, and once that comes out, we'll have a little bit more of information. But as I mentioned before, the Boston Celtics have Xavier Tillman's bird rights, which means that they could sign him and bring him on without going over the tax limit. So, if the Celtics have signed Neemias Queta to a multi-year deal, and they've signed Xavier Tillman to those bird right deal, bringing both of those guys back might be a possibility. And if a team throws money at Luke Kornet because of his excellence so far with the Celtics, that could be a possibility or something that happens down the road, as, he could chase the bag and go out for a new contract. Now, obviously, if Neemias Queta is just guaranteed for the end of this year, it's still solid, as the Celtics can keep him wrapped up and they don't lose him in the G League and another team can't steal him. But he could, look for more money in the offseason, go with another team if he does solid, and people have seen him play in the G League. People know that he's a fringe NBA player, so teams are going to want to invest in him. Teams are going to buy into him. Teams are going to trust in a guy like Neemias Queta. And the Celtics already have, so they need to keep believing in him, keep sticking with him, because I truly think, and I've mentioned this plenty of times, I think next year he can translate and transcend to this superstar for the Boston Celtics as a backup center. I think Al Horford could be perfect. Al Horford's replacement in Xavier Tillman could be a perfect 4, but I truly think that Neemias Queta could be that perfect backup 5, that Rob Williams replacement. He's got that verticality to catch the lobs. He's got that rim protection. He's got the offensive rebounding. He's got the intangibles to finish around the rim. Just some little nitpick things that he's got to work on. But again, he's learned through the G League. He's been playing through that in the second half of the season. He's started to get some more development over there. Obviously, coming up with the Celtics squad, practicing with them, learning stuff from Luke Kornet has desperately helped out this man. And I'm very, very excited to see that Neemias Queta has been fantastic with this squad, and he definitely deserves to get this call up. I've been preaching for it. I know everybody in the comments has been hyped up. Let me know what you think down below about Neemias Queta getting this call up. I think it's well deserved. A guy who definitely should be on the Celtics roster for the long term. And again, FIRST Portuguese, FIRST Neemias Queta. Let's go Boston Celtics. Before we wrap this video up, though, as you guys know, we got to get to the comment of the day, the best part of the video and the last part of the video. So like I mentioned, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy what we talked about with Neemias Queta, let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and you could be the lucky person picked for comment of the day for the future. But our comment of the day here is from Brian Kane, was saying that he is pumped up with the Boston Celtics' ability to lock down on defense, saying that he expects a shift come playoff time. And I totally agree with you, Brian Kane. I could easily see the Boston Celtics coming out with a big time shift in the playoffs. As we all know, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, love to play good defense. We have Jrue Holiday, Derrick White have been playing some fantastic defense as well. Sam Hauser, Al Horford. This team is locked in on that defensive side. The number 2 defense in the NBA. We've seen some slips up over the last couple of games, but it's towards the end of the season. They're getting a little bit lazy. Players aren't, going full 100%. But once comes playoff time, regardless of who we match up in the Eastern Conference, I know we're going to lock them down, and I feel confident we'll be able to stop some of these teams off offensively. Yeah, some of these teams might be able to combat with their defense with ours, but I truly believe in our squad. Like I said, let me know what you think down below in the comment section so you can be like Brian Kane and get picked for the lucky comment of the day. Let us know your thoughts about Neemias Queta. Check us out in the live stream tonight and check out the other videos linked at the top if you enjoyed today's episode. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.